Hi guys, welcome back. Today is Thursday, the 20th of February, and I just came back from my local chess club where I played a over the board game against Paul. I'm not gonna name surnames, but for privacy reasons, I played Paul, and yeah, I won against him last year, but that doesn't really matter too much because I won against him last year, but it doesn't really mean too much because I've lost to people who I won. Uh, I lost this year to people who I've won against last year. I hope you're catching my drift. Um, yeah, so my chess performance isn't really that great, but I'm slowly but surely getting back into the swing of things again, I think. But it's all down to change, I know. Anyway, so this is the game of this morning. It was a nice game. Uh, Kudos to Paul because we both played really well up till a certain point. Yeah, I'll show you. So, Paul, for your information, uh, I'll put this on chess.com, and chess.com let us know, amongst other things, what the accuracy is with what we played. That is, um if the computer engine plays it perfectly, it's 100%. Um, yeah, and the computer tells us how much of a percentage we played with in reference to a perfect game. So 100% is perfect, and Paul played with 87.4% accuracy. That is really good, Paul. Really good. I played with 93.4% accuracy, which I'm really happy about. And the game was really close to equal. It was actually very equal up till a certain point, uh, where we both didn't really know what to do. Yeah, let's have a look. So Paul played with white, I played with black. He just came out with the e4 pawn, and I challenged it with the e5. Yeah, e5, and he straight away brings his bishop out. And in my mind, I thought like, okay, this could be like a scholar's mate if he brings out his queen, and so this would stop it. Um, this would even stop like the knight from coming in, but I thought like I could also bring out this knight, defend this pawn, and then the queen doesn't really have anything to do anymore, because the scholar's mate is that you then maybe get this pawn and get into some nice tactics. So I brought my pony out, protecting the pawn in the center, and I think a few things that Paul might have done a little bit better is like he's pushing pawns a little bit too much, like pushing this pawn, pushing that pawn in a moment. And yes, it prevents me from coming in, but it's sometimes if it's not necessary, it can be just like a waste of time. And also you'll see um, that my opponent is shuffling his pieces around multiple times, and that's also apparently not really good. You should move your pieces around, obviously, in the correct squares and not like up and down and from one place and back again, um, which you'll see that my opponent did. Um, that's a minor thing. Still, he got to 87 point whatever accuracy. Yeah, so we're just developing our stuff, and this is a slight area of mine, which actually became a major error. Um, yeah, I did consider the idea of the computer. The computer wanted me to go uh, this, that, and get into a fork, and I would have won a pawn. But there's way around it, um, where people can suck. Hang on. Um, when people can take this first, mess up my structure, and then get to this position. It's still better for black apparently, but yeah, obviously with an exposed queen, with a king, exposed king with the queen lining up pretty soon. I'm not so much into those lines. But Starfish did say that's the best move. And an error on my side is that I don't even know why I did it, but I closed in my bishop, which in the game became a problem. I normally don't. I normally get the bishop out first and then close the pawn chain. But for whatever reason I didn't. I closed it straight away and closed in my bishop. And as you'll see, it'll become a problem. So this is just trading off some stuff. And as I mentioned before, I like this pawn here until this bishop is gone, the dark square bishop, because that's the one who can pin my knight, and you could maybe bring in another knight to put pressure on the pin piece. But in this case, they can't because this pawn is there. So that's why I like this pawn structure. And once this is gone, the bishop, I can undouble my pawns easily. Yeah, so but now I'm stuck with my bishop, and you'll see it'll be a bit of a problem. So we're just developing. See, this is what I mean with pushing the pawn twice. I mean, he just pushed it once and again, so that's basically a waste of time. And the game isn't that spicy, but otherwise it would really be a problem. If there's a lot going on, those few minor things can cause problems. But it's a quite positional game, so it doesn't really matter. He takes and he helped me undouble my pawns. Starfish doesn't like this, the computer. He wanted me to recapture straight away. Well, yeah. I think it's a matter of preference. This does the job also. Yeah, so we're just trading pieces. I was aware that I didn't want to draw this game because I didn't have a good start in this competition, and I felt I could. I had the potential to win this game, so I wasn't keen on trading off too much stuff. But yeah, I mean, if your opponent captures your pieces, you obviously got to recapture. Yeah, so obviously I was eyeing at this pawn now, so he defends. And now I took a long time, maybe 5 to 10 minutes to consider whether I could take this pawn or not. But there was too much going on, and the computer says I should have done it. Grab this. This is not what happened, by the way, but there's a couple of things that could have happened. Obviously my queen is a bit exposed here, and if my opponent would have played this, I could have played that. But then he could have taken this, and he would have a double attack on this pawn. And if the rook wouldn't have gone there, but he would have grabbed this straight away, then I would have been able to trap the bishop. But if he then maybe... Yeah. But that's like hope chess, hoping that he plays like that. Like the first thing I showed you, like maybe he can... And then we get like a double attack on this pawn. And then I have to bring in my rook. And it felt to me like too much hassle for a pawn. So I decided not to take the pawn. And the computer doesn't like it. You should have gone for it. So now my opponent is bringing out the queen, obviously going for this little tactic. But obviously, and that's another great reason why I'd like to have this double pawn here in the beginning. It opens up this file, the F file, and if this file would be closed, I wouldn't have been able to do this little trick. I would have had to move my rook away and bring my bishop back, But this just prevents this little trick altogether. And I'm just doubling up. So we're having some inaccurate moves, but I don't think it's that much of a big deal. He's obviously he's aiming at my bishop and the pawn. That's easily defendable. Now my pawn and bishop are both defended. Paul did say to me he wasn't quite sure at the moment to what to do, but not many options anymore. So I obviously now was trying to get rid of the queen. So he brought it back. So he's been shuffling his queen around. So that's, I can see his idea, but this is like a threat easily dealt with. But you see, my bishop is like not really doing anything. So I was thinking, like, how can I get my bishop active? And I mean, I cannot bring it down here because obviously it'll just be taken. So I was just thinking, how can I get my rooks over here, get rid of the queen? That was my idea. Bring the rook here, up and over, get rid of the queen, then bring out the bishop, trade the bishops because his bishop is really strong here and mine is doing nothing. Yeah, so that was my idea. And obviously I had to get back here again to avoid this trick, even though it wouldn't have mattered because there's defense here. Yeah, so he steps out of the way. Bring out my queen. And he just shuffles his stuff around. And now he comes back again. So that's just like he's been shuffling his queen around too many times. And the computer still thinks it's quite equal. Pretty much equal actually. But yeah, that's just one thing you should be aware of. Not to move your pieces up and down too many times. Because actually you're making my life a little bit easier. And obviously this threat is still there. So I thought like I wanted to bring my queen into the game anyway, and now defend this square. Paul's just yeah, developing pieces that aren't developed yet, like pushing some pawns. And now he did say he had a tactic. He was just speaking out his words, his thoughts a little bit, and he said you're probably not gonna fall for it, but I can capture this, and we'll see, something like that. And I was like, okay, well, feel free to capture this pawn because it's defended twice and attacked twice. So if you grab my pawn, I'll just grab your bishop, you grab my queen, and I grab your queen, and I'm up material. So I was quite happy, but I thought like let's push this move. And obviously I still wanted to bring my rook down and up here to get rid of the queen, because this queen was, even though it's going up and down all over the place and back and front and back, it is annoying. So hence the reason I wanted to bring my rook here. I'm attacking the bishop, asking him what are you going to do? And obviously if he brings it back here, I was just gonna pin it to the queen and then take it. But he took, which as you can see by the computer, it's a blunder, because now I can take it and I'm up a bishop. And this was a really strong bishop, and this bishop prevented my bishop from coming into the game, and now you'll see my bishop is going to get really strong, and it just changed the whole game. And now I'm eyeing on this pawn, which Paul didn't see. He's just obviously also developing his rooks. And now because this pawn is pinned to the king, this pawn is free to take, and he didn't see it. So I'm up a pawn, and this was getting a bit tricky because I thought like if I take it, he can capture me or capture this. Well, he couldn't have captured this way actually. We would have had to. But anyway, I thought like just bring my rook back. That's the safe way. And he's exchanging material, which I'm really happy with, because obviously I'm up, so it benefits me to develop. And now I'm finally getting my bishop into the game. It's doing what it's born for, being a pain in the ass, because it's now sitting here defending this whole pawn chain. It's like a diamond pawn, and it prevents this pawn from advancing and this pawn cannot advance because it's free to take. So it's really strong now, the bishop here. And now I'm just offering a trade. And I was quite sure he wasn't going to. And then I thought, like, if he steps away with his rook, I can give a check. Well, I'll show you anyway what happened, because that's what I've done. He moves away. I give a check. He cannot defend this because obviously he cannot go here because I'm there. He can go here because it's defended by by my monster of a bishop. So now I'm up 2 pawns. Actually, I'm up 1 pawn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because he took a pawn with his bishop. I'm up a bishop and 2 pawns. So this is like easy peasy. And he just, yeah, it's just the end of the game. Because now I'm just taking this with a check. I actually considered just trading off material by giving a check, but then I'd be losing a bishop and a rook, and it's still 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pawns. That was a bit too much, and I thought, like, don't do it. Just take it easy. Go for this pawn. And here he, I think out of desperation, he took my strong bishop. I recapture it, and yeah, not sure why he did it, because now he's got no material left to work with other than his pawns and his queens, and no pawns can advance because there's no passed pawns, and this one is up for grabs. And then I can just advance Harry, I think his name is called. Harry, the side pawn. So this is where Paul resigned. Yeah, so great game. Up till he fumbled with his taking the pawn with his bishop. It was equal, and we played really, really well. So once again, 93% for me, 87% for my opponent, Paul. So well done, Paul, and thank you very much all for watching. And yeah, I might play a game online today, maybe in the afternoon. Just chill for a moment, and we'll see. And okay, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.